Hello YouTubers, hello Instagrammers, hello world. This impromptu video is a response to a question I received for an interview and inner view is what this beautiful artist calls it for her newsletter community. And she asked me to just share a message for right now. And so I thought I would come on and just share a message and post it on my channel as well. A message for now. Pause. Breathe in. Exhale. Breathe out. The strongest message that has come through to me recently is placing my hands on my body and really feeling my breath and really tuning into my heartbeat, tuning into my body, into the energy that I am putting into my work, into my relationships. It feels as though the feminine within all of us is being called up. I watched a beautiful documentary last night, and this Indigenous elder was speaking about how so much of our lives have been through religious sort of dogma, this looking up and downloading from God or downloading from the cosmos or the universe, and this new way of looking at the now as an uploading from the earth. So my message is, can we find peace with earth rather than peace on earth? Can we find peace with earth, with her, with this uploading of information and integration that she's bringing us? Viruses have been around probably before we were around. How can we receive this upload? It's a difficult and controversial topic to think of a virus as something that's a gift, actually, as a messenger. Nature, viruses, bacteria, all of these microscopic beings, entities, non-human, more than human, are a part of our environment. And as individuals, which is individed individuality, individed duality, we have divided and separated ourselves in this dual polarized world where we see ourselves as separate, and therefore we want to hide in fear from a virus that we cannot destroy and cannot overcome. Our bodies are being asked to feel them, to heal them, to slow down enough to listen. When we take care of our bodily systems, our immune systems, our hormonal systems, all of these functions of the body, we can trust the body to heal itself, to protect itself from, external stimulus that will always be present. So rather than seeking outside of ourselves for healing and for protection and for safety, I believe the message right now is, how do we go in and how do we upload from our feet, from our roots, the message that the earth is calling us to feel? She is beyond our conscious understanding of genius and brilliance. We cannot doubt nature's natural progress of death and rebirth. Perhaps we all being asked to really look at our relationship to the natural world. Can we ask her for forgiveness? You know, sometimes it feels like, what are we supposed to do? We live so separate. We destroy her. We abuse her. We've forgotten how to care for her and honor her. And perhaps, as this beautiful elder said, the first step is to be humble. Humble humility is the foundation for forgiveness. If we can be still and listen to the subtle messages, listen to her cries, her calls for connection, rather than hide in separation and try to clean her and sterilize her. I'm really radical about this whole sterilization thing. I think it's really fucking frightening. We cannot sterilize ourselves from nature, and that includes bacteria and viruses. When we cover our mouths, when we prevent our ability to inhale and exhale her life, her magic, we further distance ourselves from that connection. We separate from the natural world. And this is what is our greatest pain, our greatest trauma, our greatest source of suffering and illness and disease. So whilst I am compassionate for those with compromised immune systems, I do think we are all to look at our immune systems, at our health, at our relationship to health as something long-term, not something to be fixed or sought outside of ourselves from a doctor or a healer, but to really tune in. How do I eat? How do I breathe? How do I sleep? How do I move my body? When was the last time I put my bare feet in the soil? When was the last time I swam in an ocean? Where do I drink my water from? You know, for me it's infusions. I harvest and forage wild weeds. I incorporate them into my diet. They give me strength and energy and natural connections to soil bacteria because I'm not washing my food, constantly sterilizing. I am healthy because my biome, my skin biome, my microbiome, my vagina biome, my mouth, all of these bacteria are living on and with viruses as well, with me, in communication with me. You know, and I swear in my journey and what I've seen is this is the key to health. The more diversity, the more ability to survive, the greater our strength, our resiliency. The individual separate self is weak, is in fear, is vulnerable. And that includes our relationship to bacteria and the natural world and the biomes. So when I am covering my mouth and sterilizing my surfaces, I am directly showing that I don't trust her, that I do not trust nature, I do not trust my environment, and therefore I do not trust life. And if I do not trust life, I'm afraid of life. I'm afraid of dying because I'm not living my full life. And I think we've been avoiding death in this Western world for so long. We fear death, we don't talk about death, we don't trust the death process of life, death, and rebirth. Death is an important part of our cycles. Dying, for me personally, was letting go of my fiance and my lost love. Dying in terms of leaving home and traveling. Dying in terms of letting go of jobs that didn't serve me, that felt like they were draining my life force. You know, death in terms of my body shutting down and being riddled with viruses and eczema and indigestion. And I had all of these chronic fatigue issues, which I had to let myself go into that illness in order to come out the other side and restructure my life. There was a dis-ease in my environment, in my mind, because I wasn't listening to my body. And so my body started telling me and sending signals. And so if your body is sending you signals, rather than trying to fix or put a plaster or numb or avoid, maybe we can jump into those feelings and into those discomforts and those pains and alchemize through the death into the next layer of our rebirth, this opportunity for an upgrade, for a spiritual, physical consciousness that really trusts themselves first and foremost, trusts the natural world. I'm gonna have a spekboom. Trusts each other. Perhaps that's the message for right now. Can we pause? Can we breathe? Can we listen to our bodies? Can we listen and trust the natural world? It's up to us, each and every single one of us. So that's my message. I hope you enjoyed. I'm available. I do lots of different talks on Instagram. I'm actively working in anti-racism spaces right now because I think part of the separation is the separation in culture, in races, in identity politics, in this environment of silos that we've, rooted ourselves in for safety. And now it's really about that diversity, about that embodied living fluidity with all that is, be it different race, different animals, different plants, different bacteria, from the macro to the micro. And that's a somatic practice. It's not a thing of the mind to understand race. It's a thing of our bodies. Who are you spending time with? What does your community look like? Is it time to open your circles to those who don't hold the same beliefs as you? To those who don't look like you or didn't go to the same schools as you? How we learn and how we evolve and grow our capacity for diversity and life is through change, is through difference, interactions, taking those steps out of our comfort zones. So my invitation for right now in your next steps is to take a good look at your life, at your day-to-day routines. How do you eat? How do you communicate with water? Water is life. Do you have a spring that you can go to and fetch water? Do you hold water as something sacred? Do you honor the elements, the breath? Do you light a candle to say thank you to the fire? Little things add up. So yeah, that's your Monday afternoon message of now. Lots of love.